Hey guys, it's Benjamin with Benjamin's Exotics, and in today's video we are going to be looking at how we set up and care for baby tree frogs here at Benjamin's Exotics. Alright, we're going to be doing a quick video today on how we actually set up and care for baby tree frogs here at Benjamin's Exotics. Now I do want to clarify, when I say baby tree frogs, I'm not talking about some of the monster like Amazon species that you get out of South America and other parts of the world. I'm talking about small to medium-sized tree frog species, so things like eastern gray tree frogs, American green tree frogs, Cuban tree frogs, kind of those like small to medium-sized species where the babies come out pretty small from a tadpole. Obviously, if you have a massive species, that's going to be a different care requirement. So when we're talking about smaller tree frog species here at Benjamin's Exotics, when they first come out of the water from a tadpole and they're just developing their legs, their tails, and they're ready to go to start eating, we actually set them up in something like this. So small deli cups. Now you can actually get these guys just, small. I don't know exactly what size these are. This is this says 350 milliliter, whatever that means in ounces, but essentially small deli cup. You can actually get these with the pre-drilled holes from some reptile shipping companies, or you can just get a standard small deli cup and actually pre-drill the holes yourself. But be careful if you do that, because if you pre-drill these holes and they're too big, these guys will absolutely get out, run around, they'll hide under something, they'll dry out, and they'll actually die because they just don't have the moisture to support their body. These very small bodies, I should say, because tree frogs, like I said, come out normally very small from a tadpole. So we just set them up in a small cup like this, which I like the small cups because it doesn't give the feeders a lot of room to basically run around and hide from the frog, so we know the frog has plenty of opportunities to actually get the feeders in a cup like this. And I don't really mess around with substrate too much. I'm not a big fan of eco-earth for baby frogs like tree frogs or baby toads, because lots of the times they're going to eat a lot of the substrate when they're trying to get the fruit flies or roaches or crickets or whatever you're feeding, and they're going to get impacted and die. And when you have hundreds of frogs, you definitely notice it. If you have a couple pets, you'll be fine if you do use something like eco-earth, but when you have hundreds of frogs, you will definitely notice more dying from impaction when you use a loose substrate. So in this case, like I said, for large amounts of frogs, I just like to use paper towel. We just rip this, spray it down on the bottom, and these guys get cleaned out every single day. Not every 2 days, not every 3 days, literally every single day the frogs go to a new cup, and we wash the old cups, which are typically soiled within 12 to 24 hours. So after we've started them off in these small cups and they actually start to get some size where I know they're not going to escape from our bigger pre-drilled holes, we move them up to something like this. So this is actually a baby Cuban tree frog that literally just got moved into a tub like this. So in this case, this is actually like I don't know what this is exactly in terms of liters or quarts. This is probably like a 1.5 quart. This is by Iris, and these are actually called like our accessory box or something. You get them from the Container Store. We buy them online and get them shipped in, and these are literally fantastic. The lids snap tight, so you know they can't get out through the gap, which is a problem with some smaller containers. And we just go through, we put 5 holes on each side, and that seems to work perfect for our baby tree frogs. In the exact same setup, paper towel on the bottom, we take a select size and either cut it in half or fold it in half. That goes along the bottom, and these guys get cleaned out every single day. Now, as far as feeding is concerned, personally, I don't like to mess around with fruit flies too much. I know that's what a lot of people use, and fruit flies are good feeders. They do work well, but you can only feed fruit flies for maybe a month for lots of these small, fast-growing tree frog species. And to me, at least, it's like, you know, what's the point in starting off with small fruit flies and then having to upgrade to something like roaches or crickets, where you can just start off feeding roaches and crickets and not have to switch from feeder to feeder. So personally, I start out with red runner roaches, so I actually get like freshly hatched out red runner roaches that we breed or buy, and that's what we start off the freshly hatched tree frogs with. And then as they get older, so this is probably a month or a month and a half old Cuban tree frog, once they start getting some size, we'll start bumping up the size of the roach. So today we're actually going to be feeding this little tree frog some red runner roaches. Like I said, these would be probably anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks old. These are certainly not freshly hatched. They do have some size to them, as you can see, but we probably have, you know, 10 or so in here that we're going to actually feed to this baby tree frog. If the camera will focus, like you guys can see. Not too big, not too small, next to my finger. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good size reference. So as far as supplements go, obviously you want to be giving these guys like a vitamin A supplement on the side if you're using a multivitamin and a calcium supplement. So typically, as a staple supplement, I like to use Repashy Calcium Plus, which we're actually going to use today, and then every 2 or 3 weeks I'll actually give these guys some of the Repashy, I think it's called Vitamin A Plus. It's basically a vitamin A supplement that you don't want to overdo, because if you do it multiple times in 1 week, you can actually kill baby frogs from a vitamin A overdose. But if you don't give the vitamin A extra supplement, they can actually get things like eye problems and sticky tongue disease later on in life. So all we do is we take the deli cup that has the supplement name on the top. So like I said, this is Repashy Calcium Plus. We take our red runners, just like that. Dump those guys straight into our cup. Make sure I got all of them and they're not climbing up the sides. Give these guys a real good shake. Make sure we get all of the roaches covered in the supplement. Then I'm going to take the cup with the roaches and the dusted supplement. Most of them are going to crawl out on their own if I tilt this at an angle. Some might need a bit of help from this little hemostat or tong. And again, there are ways you can scale this up if you're trying to feed a lot of baby frogs at once, but just for the purpose of this video, this is how we're gonna do it. So there's a couple roach legs as well floating around in this. We do use this for the bigger animals as well. And once we know we got basically most of the roaches into here, like you can see, they are dusted with the calcium and vitamin supplement. We want to make sure the baby tree frog doesn't get out of this container, but make sure he goes to the bottom. Put these guys in, and this setup is ready to go back in the rack. We're gonna come back tomorrow, like I said, clean this cage out, probably move this tree frog to a new tub is what we normally do, and then clean the old tub, see how many of the roaches got eaten, see how many didn't, write it down in our records, and then basically do the exact same thing day per day. And after about, not a too long period of time, these guys grow pretty quickly, but certainly after, I would say, for a Cuban tree frog, probably a couple months, maybe 4 or 5 months, you're gonna really start seeing these guys get some size, and they should be able to eat like an adult, or not quite adult, but like a medium-sized dubia roach or a medium-sized cricket even. So we're gonna see, and we're going to film for 1 second more to see if we can get this guy to actually eat. And it looks like we are. Perfect. To actually eat one of these little red runners. So Cuban tree frogs are normally pretty voracious feeders, even as babies, but obviously this isn't quite a normal setup for this guy, and the light is probably not helping his feeding response, but hopefully in a second we'll actually get a shot of this guy eating, and if not, I'll actually speed up the footage, and oop, I think he just got one right there. Again, it's a little bit hard working with the tripod, but as you guys can see, I bet this roach gets picked off right here. I can see he has his eyes focused on it. It's always just so cool to watch these guys eat, whether it be a fruit fly or a cricket or a roach or whatever. And again, I think he did just pick one off that we actually might have missed, but this is how we do it. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It certainly isn't, it's not an elaborate setup. It's really basic, but it does work really well. And I can actually see he did get a roach because I can actually see it moving in the side of him. It's kind of funny. These guys are almost actually like translucent as babies, and when they eat a bunch of roaches and they go on the side of the tub, you can sometimes literally see their stomach just filled to the brim with fruit flies or baby red runner roaches. So that's about it for the end of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Again, nothing fancy, just how we set up and care for baby tree frogs here at Benjamin's Exotics. So I hope you guys did enjoy and most importantly benefit from today's video. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to give this video a like, be sure to comment, and of course subscribe. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.